Hi everybody, Dan Illman here, taking a look at the first of three stakes races carded on the turf at Gulfstream Park on New Year's Eve. Here's the field for the opening race, the kickoff leg to the 50-cent pick 5. It's the Janus Stakes. We're going 5 furlongs on the turf. There are some nice runners in this race. Extravagant Kid is one of the top turf sprinters in the country on his best day. He went to Dubai and actually won the Group 1 Alquaz Sprint, then was a good third in the Group 1 King's Stand at Royal Ascot. Didn't fire last time out in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, but on his best day, you know Extravagant Kid can step. And the horse on the far outside, as we take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, the 8 Karotari brings dangerous early speed to the fray. This is a horse that's banked almost $500,000 in his career. He really likes Gulfstream Park, and off this little bit of a layoff, he does run well fresh. I would expect an aggressive Louis Saez to put him up front, and he might be extremely tough to run down in the lane. But there are some other horses in this race lurking under the radar at nice prices. One of them Smokin' Jay. 3-year-old taking on some older horses. He'll be 4 on January the 1st. He ran well in a couple of turf sprints in New York over the fall in the Allied Forces. He came from out of it at 15-1 to score in the Carl Place. He ran very well to run second, utilizing an inside-out closer's trip, and he tried the venerable Pink Lloyd last time out over a synthetic surface at Woodbine, the Kennedy Road. He's run well on synthetic at the past at Presque Isle Downs. That race just might have been a bit too tough for him against Pink Lloyd. I like him on turf. I like him sprinting on turf. I think he has enough tactical speed perhaps to stay within range, although it is interesting to note he's done some of his better work at 6 and 7 furlongs, and this 5 is a different ballgame. It's very sharp at Gulfstream Park. XY Speed, talk about sharp. He's in extremely sharp form. He's been on the board in his last 6, including this race, the Claiming Crown Canterbury. He battled on the lead. He dusted the other pace setter. He's in the stretch with the lead, and he's going to get beat by Bad Beat Brian. You can see him getting a little bit tired in his first start of a 2-month layoff. He was drifting out at the end, but this is a horse that shows up every time, and he doesn't need the lead to win. I think Paco Lopez is going to break, and he's going to go, and he's going to, if Karotari is faster than him, allow Karotari to go and maybe get to the outside of that horse. But XY Speed, this is a horse that should be in prime position turning into the stretch. The question is he truly a stakes horse going 5 ace? He ran the Laurel Dash going 5.5 first off the claim. That 5.5 plays very long at Laurel. Second wire finish, long stretch. He got a great trip tracking and splitting horses and just holding on at the end. XY Speed, though, is in sharp form right now, and you can't discount that. Omaha City ran well in the quick call, 3 starts back. You make the argument somebody had to run second to Golden Pal that day, and Omaha City sat back off the solid pace. It was a really nice ride from Manny Franco. He got up for second. He got the money at a big price to run second, and since then they've run him in 2 starts, one going 6.5 at Kentucky Downs. You don't have to hold that race against him. And then last time out at Aqueduct in the Turf Sprint, where he was a giant price, and he didn't do much running. I think this horse needs a bit of class relief right now. Don't want to knock him too much. He's going to be a big price, and he's run well on Gulfstream sod in the past. Breakthrough is the number 4. This horse has run off turf in his last 2 races, one of them on the synthetic surface where he was beaten after chasing a pretty quick pace early, one on dirt, which is not his surface at all. His races 3 and 4 back on turf are okay. He's got a little bit of speed. I'm not sure he has the kind of classy speed that some of the others have in this race. Maybe he can add to the pace, and that would help the 5. Romario, seen here, winning an optional claiming race from way out of it on December the 3rd. He didn't break very well from the inside post in this race and came widest into the stretch. He's just going to get up over the Virginian. Romario popped a 90 buyer speed figure in this race. It was a number that sort of came out of nowhere. If you give him a fast pace, he's going to come with a kick. He is a horse, though, that's stepping back up into the stakes ranks against some good ones. Seems to be in form right now. May grab a minor award with this one at a price. Extravagant Kid, again, has been so consistent for so long. He's earned over $1.5 million. In the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, he didn't fire his best shot. He was 30-1 in that race. There wasn't a ton of speed. Golden Pal controlled it from the start, and Extravagant Kid was 3 wide near the back and last turning into the stretch. He just didn't have a chance in that race. His prior effort in the Woodford behind Golden Pal was good. Maybe he bounced a little bit in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. The Woodford was his first start back off a European foray. They were very aggressive with him last year, and I wonder if perhaps the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint was him feeling the effects of a long 8-race campaign that saw him run in the United States, in Dubai, and twice in England. It's interesting that Brendan Walsh has him back in here. He must think that the horse is doing well. He's got class. Does he have the speed to stay within range going 5/8 at this point in his career? I'm not sure if he does, but I think Extravagant Kid's going to come running at the end, and I do think 3-1, considering his credentials, is a very fair price. We'll take a look at the number 7 in this race right now, and that is Yes, I Am Free. It was fourth last time out over a synthetic surface. Winner of that race is a nice synthetic horse. Came back to win a stake at Gulfstream on the synth with a 90 Beyer speed figure. Yes, I Am Free is good on wet dirt. He is good on turf. He may not be at his best on synthetic. He's another horse that is a solid overnight handicap, solid optional claiming type. Is he truly a stakes horse if horses like Karotari and Extravagant Kid and XY Speed show up with their best? That remains to be seen. Here's Karotari's last race at Keeneland. He got loose. Under Florent Giroux, he was hustled out of there. He got to the lead, and as you see, he's going to hold on over the aforementioned Bad Beat Brian, who would come back to beat XY Speed in the claiming crown with a 96 Beyer speed figure. This was over a wet turf course. He is fine over a fast or firm turf, as you saw 3 starts back in the Troy, where he earned a 102 Beyer speed figure, doing all the dirty work on the lead. His speed makes him dangerous. He could be in front turning into the stretch, and it's going to be up to Extravagant Kid in the close to run him down. 7-5, a little bit light, but he certainly has credentials. Karotari, in some ways, maybe the horse to not only catch, but beat. I'll try to beat him with Extravagant Kid. Maybe he's a little bit off form. Maybe he's tired after a long campaign. I'm just not going to hold the Breeders' Cup against him. Tough spot, not a lot of pace for him to run at, a little bit washed out in the paddock going out onto the track. Curious to see if he can run down Karotari in the stretch of the Janus, one of 3 stakes races at Gulfstream Park on New Year's Eve. Happy New Year.